Two simple words. That's all Princess Kate said when a hospital volunteer mentioned how cancer patients sit for hours during treatment. But those two words revealed everything. The understanding that only comes from walking that terrifying path yourself. Today, we're diving into one of the most powerful royal stories of our time. Not because it's about a princess, but because it's about a human being who showed us what real courage looks like. If you or someone you love has ever faced cancer, this video is for you. And if you haven't, stick around, because Kate's message might just change how you see the world. January 2024 started like any other year for the royal family. Kate, Princess of Wales, was at the height of her public duties, smiling at events, championing causes for children and families, being the steady presence the monarchy had come to rely on. On January 17th, Kensington Palace announced that Kate had undergone planned abdominal surgery. They said she'd be stepping back from public duties while she recovered. The surgery was successful, they assured everyone. Nothing to worry about. But here's the thing, the British public didn't see her. Not at Christmas, not in February, not in March. And in our modern world of 24/7 news cycles and social media, that absence became deafening. Speculation ran wild. Conspiracy theories exploded online. Doctored photos were released and then retracted. The pressure mounted not just on Kate, but on her husband William, their three children, George, Charlotte, and Louis, and the entire royal institution. What the world didn't know was that behind palace walls, a family was grappling with news that would shake them to their core. The surgery had been successful, but the tests that followed? They revealed something no one expected. March 22, 2024, a date that will forever be etched in royal history. Kate released a video message that was unlike anything the monarchy had ever shared before. Filmed in Windsor on a quiet Wednesday, she sat alone on a bench surrounded by blooming flowers, a symbol of spring, of renewal, of hope, and she told the world her truth. She spoke about the surgery, about how doctors initially thought her condition wasn't cancerous, about how subsequent tests proved otherwise. And then she said the words that every cancer patient knows carry unbearable weight. She would need to undergo preventative chemotherapy. But here's what makes Kate's announcement so remarkable. It wasn't just what she said. It was how she said it. There was no royal stiffness, no formal distance. Just a 42-year-old mother looking directly into the camera and admitting. This, of course, came as a huge shock. She talked about protecting her young family, about processing the news privately with William, about the incredible medical team caring for her. She asked for time, space, and privacy, but she also thought of others. At this time, I am also thinking of all those whose lives have been affected by cancer, she said. For everyone facing this disease, in whatever form, please do not lose faith or hope. You are not alone. That last line, it would become her mantra, her gift to the world. The reaction was immediate and overwhelming. King Charles, himself battling cancer at the same time, expressed his pride. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak praised her courage. But more importantly, everyday people, cancer survivors, caregivers, families who knew this pain, felt seen. Because Kate had done something radical, she'd shown vulnerability. Real, raw, unfiltered vulnerability. What followed was what Kate herself would later describe as incredibly tough months. Throughout spring and summer of 2024, she largely disappeared from public view. The world caught glimpses, a brief video of her and William at a farm shop, her appearance at Trooping the Colour in June, where she admitted she was not out of the woods yet, and that beautiful moment at Wimbledon in July with her daughter Charlotte. But these weren't the performances of a princess doing her duty. These were the efforts of a woman fighting for her life, while trying to maintain some semblance of normalcy for her children. Think about that for a moment. You're 42 years old. You have 3 kids who need you. You're undergoing chemotherapy, the fatigue, the nausea, the fear that comes with poison coursing through your veins to kill the poison growing inside you. And the entire world is watching, waiting, speculating about every appearance, every absence. Kate later revealed she had good days and bad days. That simple admission holds volumes. The good days weren't great. They were just days when she could function. The bad days were probably unbearable. But here's what we need to understand. She kept fighting. Not because she's a princess. Not because the crown demanded it. But because she's a mother who wanted to see her children grow up. Because she's a wife who wanted to grow old with William. Because she's human, and humans have this incredible capacity to endure. In September 2024, she released another video, this time announcing she'd completed her chemotherapy. But it wasn't a victory lap. It was an acknowledgement of a journey that was far from over. Here's where Kate did something that divided opinion, but ultimately spoke volumes about who she is. The September video wasn't your typical royal announcement. It was cinematic, intimate, shot in Norfolk with her family. It showed Kate and William holding hands, kissing, hugging, displays of affection that British royals simply don't typically share publicly. Some critics called it too polished, too perfect, like a perfume commercial. They missed the point entirely. This wasn't about perfection. It was about preservation, preserving memories, preserving moments, preserving a family unit that had been through hell and come out the other side, holding each other tighter. Kate spoke over those beautiful images. Doing what I can to stay cancer-free is now my focus. Although I have finished chemotherapy, my path to healing and full recovery is long, and I must continue to take each day as it comes. That honesty, my path to healing and full recovery is long. That's not what we usually hear from public figures. They give us the happy ending. They tell us they've beaten it. They move on. Kate refused to do that. She acknowledged the uncertainty, the fear, the complexity of cancer survivorship. And you know what? That made her message even more powerful. Because everyone watching who'd been through cancer, who was going through cancer, or who loved someone going through it recognized the truth in her words. Cancer doesn't end when treatment ends. It changes you. It marks you. It teaches you that control is an illusion and tomorrow is never guaranteed. January 2025 brought news the world had been hoping for. Kate was in remission. She announced it with characteristic grace, acknowledging that remission isn't the end of the story. It is a relief to now be in remission, and I remain focused on recovery. As anyone who has experienced a cancer diagnosis will know, it takes time to add just to a new normal. A new normal, not the old normal. That's gone forever. A new one, built on the foundation of what she'd survived. Throughout 2025, Kate slowly returned to public life. But she was different, more grounded, more purposeful. She spoke openly about the role creativity and nature played in her healing. She visited hospitals not as a patron bestowing royal favor, but as a fellow traveler who understood the long hours of waiting, the fear in the eyes of loved ones, the small kindnesses that mean everything. When she and William visited Charing Cross Hospital in January 2026, and that volunteer mentioned the long hours patients endure, Kate's "I know" wasn't just acknowledgement, it was solidarity. She'd been there. She'd sat in those chairs. She'd watched the 4-drip slowly deliver chemicals that would save her life while making her feel like death. She knew. And then came her 2026 focus, championing art therapy and creative healing. Not some abstract royal initiative, but something born directly from her own experience. She discovered that the power of creativity could help people cope with the indescribable, and she wanted to share that with others. This wasn't Princess Kate, patron saint of good causes. This was Catherine, cancer survivor, using her platform to amplify what had saved her. Which brings us to just days ago, February 4th, 2026. World Cancer Day. Kate released another video, narrating footage from her January 2025 visit to the Royal Marsden Hospital, where she'd received her own treatment. She's seen talking with patients, meeting nurses, connecting with caregivers. And her message? It cut straight to the heart of what cancer really is. On World Cancer Day, my thoughts are with everyone who is facing a cancer diagnosis, undergoing treatment, or finding their way through recovery. Cancer touches so many lives, not only patients, but the families and friends and caregivers who walk beside them. She continued, as anyone who has experienced this journey will know, it's not linear. There are moments of fear and exhaustion, but also moments of strength, kindness, and profound connection. That word, linear, is so important because we want to believe that healing is a straight line from diagnosis to cure. We want the story to be simple. You get sick, you get treatment, you get better. The end. But Kate's telling us the truth. It's messy. It's up and down. Some days you feel strong. Some days the fear crashes over you like a wave. And that's okay. That's normal. That's the reality of survivorship. Today is a reminder of the importance of care, understanding, and hope, she concluded. Please know you are not alone. So why does Princess Kate's cancer journey matter so much? Here's the thing. Approximately 2 in 5 people will be diagnosed with cancer at some point in their lives. That's not a royal statistic. That's everyone. Your neighbor, your colleague, your parent, you. When someone with Kate's platform shares their story with this level of honesty and vulnerability, it does something powerful. It removes shame. It creates permission. It builds community. Before Kate's announcement, how many people were suffering in silence, thinking they had to be strong, thinking they couldn't show fear or exhaustion because that would be weakness? How many families were struggling alone, not knowing how to talk about what they were going through? Kate's transparency created a permission slip for everyone else to be human, to admit the fear, to acknowledge the bad days, to accept that recovery isn't linear and that's okay. She also reminded us that cancer doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care if you're royalty or regular folks. It doesn't care about your title, your wealth, your privilege. When cancer comes knocking, we're all equally vulnerable. We all need the same things: medical care, emotional support, and the knowledge that we're not facing this alone. But here's what I think is the most important part of Kate's story. She didn't have to share it the way she did. She could have released a statement. She could have kept it brief and distant. She could have protected herself behind the walls of royal protocol. Instead, she chose connection over protection. She chose to use her own pain as a bridge to reach others in theirs. She chose to remind the world that strength isn't about never falling. It's about getting back up, admitting when you're scared, and reaching out your hand to help the next person who falls. That's not princess behavior. That's leader behavior. That's human behavior at its absolute best. If Kate's story resonated with you, do me a favor. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Whether they're going through cancer themselves, supporting a loved one, or just need a reminder that vulnerability is strength, pass it on. And hey, if you found value in this deep dive into Princess Kate's journey, hit that subscribe button. We create content here that goes beyond the headlines to find the real human stories that matter. Drop a comment below and tell me, what part of Kate's message resonated most with you? What would you say to someone just starting their cancer journey? Remember Kate's words, you are not alone. And that includes you watching this right now. Thanks for being here. Take care of yourself. And I'll see you in the next video.